The Wizards said a lot. Then LeBron James showed up. The Wizards are the best team in the Eastern Conference, and the Cavaliers are afraid of them. It's true, I swear. I heard it Friday afternoon, right from the mouths of Bradley Beal and John Wall, right there on ESPN. That was about 8 hours before LeBron James bulldozed over them, through them, around them, between them, and on top of them in one of the greatest shows of his career, before his Cavaliers flicked away this happily chatty Wizards group whose message had been delivered behind a microphone instead of on the court. You know what? On second thought, Cleveland didn't seem afraid. Washington has spent consecutive Friday nights on national television against the NBA's two marquee franchises. Last week, the Wizards coughed up an 18-point lead in a loss at Golden State. This time, they were handled on their home court by the Cavaliers, well, really by James. And this 130-122 result might force a temporary softening of Washington's rhetoric. The Wizards have now witnessed greatness 2 Fridays in a row, transcendent, impossible greatness from James, who poured in 57 points, made shots you wouldn't even attempt on a Nerf hoop, and probably would have made the Monstars cower. He was a giant stomping through a peasant village. We tried everything. We tried everything, Washington coach Scott Brooks lamented. And because of James, you might have forgiven the Wizards for this loss, if you hadn't watched their matinee performance. That's when John Wall and Bradley Beal continued to lean into their unfamiliar status as Eastern Conference heavyweights, leaning mouth first. Their frank confidence is appealing, as is so much else about these Wizards. But someone will have to explain the utility of Washington's two best players providing Cleveland with a month's worth of motivation during an interview that became the talk of the NBA. Going at LeBron James verbally, if you can believe it, didn't pay off on Friday night. Maybe next time? LeBron James pours in 57 as Cavaliers quiet Wizards, 130-122. Wall on the Cavaliers, we feel like we're their biggest threat. Beal on the Eastern Conference, I feel like we're the best team. Wall on the Cavaliers, I think they didn't want the number 1 seed, last season, for a reason, because we would have played them in the second round. I think they wanted to see us in the Eastern Conference Finals. Beal on the Buzz, that's always been kind of our MO, is we've got to get some respect. You know, we're playing against top teams, we're beating these top teams and we're not getting the recognition we need. But now we have it, so we've got to do something with it. They didn't, not on this night, when Wall missed 7 free throws and Washington's team defense was inadequate even before James took over. In the same interview, the two guards earnestly and accurately ticked off the keys to future success. They would need to play better defense. They would need to start games with more fire. They would need to be on our P's and Q's to the T, as Beal put it. Well, give him a D on all of those goals. The Cavs scored 130 points on 56% shooting. Washington was ready to play, as long as the game was red light green light, and all the red lights were busted. The sprinting Cavs had 42 points after the first quarter, when they made 77% of their shots. Too many easy possessions, Brooks said. We have to come in with a better defensive disposition. The Wizards will reveal who they are in all the moments between the big games. James was superhuman. Very rarely do you see a guy hit like 10 straight heat check shots, Brooks observed, and so maybe you just throw this box score away and move on to Toronto. But this game came 2 days after the Wizards lost a 22-point lead at home, 2 days after they gave up 122 to the Suns, 2 days after T.J. Warren notched a career-high 40 points. And it came after 2 days of talk about how their improvement must come on the defensive end. Instead, Washington allowed 104 points in the first 3 quarters, after giving up 97 in the final 3 quarters on Wednesday. We've got to do better, Brooks said. We've got to do better. Humility doesn't make headlines, and this could be the most talented Washington team in 40 years. Still, Unless your goals are generating pre-game viral videos and boosting Washington Post web traffic, it might be time for more showing and less telling. James shook off any suggestion that the Wizards had given him motivation. "I really don't have a comment about it," he said, saying he was focused more on his own locker room and his own team's struggles. But he did seem to delight in his scoring spree, which stopped Cleveland's 4-game losing streak and will put